Right now, a new video from the Bahamas shows the devastation after Hurricane Dorian as the death toll is expected to rise. And the Beloit City Council passes an ordinance that limits the use of vaping products. We'll tell you more.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at your first alert forecast. Clouds hanging on out there.
Yeah, they are really being a little bit stubborn this afternoon, but I expect a little bit of clearing by the time we get to later this afternoon as high pressure builds in from the north. Kind of a cool visible cloud track loop, though, over the last couple of hours, kind of looking like waves in the sky there, and that makes sense. The atmosphere behaves a lot like water and a fluid in general. Temperatures are in the lower 60s in the Dells, mid 60s in Madison and Janesville, and still in the 50s in some spots north of Madison. That is a huge change temperature-wise from yesterday, about 10 to 20 degrees cooler compared to this time on Tuesday. We could see those clouds, some brief breaks of sunshine, but really looking at mostly cloudy skies right now in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Temperatures will rise into the upper 60s later this afternoon, right around 70 degrees before we start to see clearing skies tonight and temperatures dip into the 50s. We'll talk about some weekend rain chances and cooler weather once again for Saturday and Sunday in your first alert forecast.
Taste of things to come.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you in a few minutes. The East Coast is feeling the effects of Dorian. Hurricane warnings are up along the coast from North Florida through the Carolinas. Mandatory evacuations were in place for 8 counties in North Florida, including St. Augustine, but not everyone listened. Emergency officials are concerned about storm surge, especially in the beachfront communities. The effects of Dorian are also being felt in Jacksonville, and while Florida didn't get the brunt of the storm, the Carolinas are still bracing for a possible direct hit. Meanwhile, the death toll from Dorian in the Bahamas is expected to rise. New video from the Bahamas shows devastating scene after devastating scene. The Red Cross estimates nearly 99% of people living in the Abaco and Grand Bahama Islands are in need of some kind of assistance. Dorian plummeted Abaco and Grand Bahama Islands for 2 days with 30 inches of rain and a storm surge as high as 23 feet. The U.S. Coast Guard has rescued dozens of people after deploying several helicopters to the region. Many more victims are believed to be stranded in the hardest hit areas.
At this point, we're still in the early stages of the response. We are concentrating very much on parts, fuel, people, communications gear.
And aid from around the world is starting to reach staging areas in Nassau as the government works to get food and water to desperate victims who are left with nothing. Authorities say they have recovered the bodies of 33 people who died in the scuba diving boat fire that happened off the coast of Southern California. Family members say a marine biologist from Wisconsin is among those presumed dead. 41-year-old Kirsty Finstead, who co-owned Worldwide Diving Adventures, was leading the scuba diving trip on the chartered boat when it caught fire Monday and trapped 34 people on board. Finstead attended Oostburg High School and graduated in 1996. Finstead was described by her brother as a strong-willed and adventurous woman. The Madison Police Department said a 50-year-old man was mugged at around 6 a.m. Saturday on Jennifer Street at South Ingersoll. Police say during the muggings, the victim was punched and knocked to the ground. The suspect fled with the victim's money and bag. The bloodied victim called for police and was taken to a hospital with serious facial injuries, including a broken nose. Officers developed probable cause to arrest 36-year-old Kyle D. Aaron in connection with the attack. He was arrested Monday morning. Aaron is facing tentative charges of robbery with use of force, substantial battery, and felony bail jumping. The Beloit City Council passed an ordinance that limits the use of vaping products, including banning the possession of vaping and e-cigarette devices by minors. The ordinance prohibits the use of e-cigarette devices in the same areas where the smoking of cigarettes and cigars is banned. A Beloit City spokesperson says the ordinance was passed on the first day of school with the intention of keeping these devices out of the hands of children and teens. The ordinance change also prohibits the sale of e-cigarettes to minors. The ordinance goes into effect on September 11th. Republicans who control the legislature's Finance Committee are set to consider releasing $200,000 to help farmers deal with mental health problems. The Joint Finance Committee laid out the money as part of the 2019-21 state budget. The The money would be used for counseling vouchers, workshops for farmers and partner organizations, and creating a new position to help implement mental health assistance. Mental health issues and suicide are problems among farmers as milk prices plummet. The National Agricultural Statistics Service found that in 2017, total statewide net cash farm income in Wisconsin declined 22% since 2012. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends students get at least 20 minutes for lunch every day. And while area schools are offering students those 20 minutes, they say that's still not enough, mostly because kids have to stand in line to get their food, which cuts into their actual eating time. This year, several Verona elementary schools are making changes on their own. One created 4 lunch lines to help speed up wait times. Another runs a workshop at the beginning of the year to teach kids how to quickly grab items and find a seat. A third moved lunch to after recess so that kids would be hungrier and eat more quickly.
Children go outside for recess, they run around, they have a great time, and when it's time for lunch, they come in quicker, they are hungrier, there's less waste in the lunchroom is quieter, and there are actually fewer kids that have behavioral issues in the afternoon or make trips to the nurse.
Verona's Sugar Creek Elementary School has won several awards thanks to its commitment to student health, including 3 national awards last school year. Right now, high school lunch periods are longer and aren't as concerning to educators and doctors. And speaking of lunch, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Do you know apples aid in our digestion? We're taking on America's first orbit around the moon and are a favorite of all ages. Wait till you see what we do with them next. The dish we're making today was taken on an orbit around the moon, aids in our digestion, and is a favorite of all ages. So let me show you how to whip up an easy homemade applesauce that you can enjoy without ever leaving the atmosphere. We start by peeling, coring, and chunking up about 8 apples. As far as the kind of apples to use, I suggest picking up an assortment. That way, Your applesauce will have a great depth of flavor. These go into a pot over medium heat, along with some apple juice or cider, a bitter brown sugar, and a stick of cinnamon. After it comes to a boil, lower the heat, cover it, and let it simmer. Make sure you stir it occasionally so everything cooks evenly. As for how long to cook it, well, that depends on how chunky or smooth you like it. Personally, I love chunky applesauce. Once it's done, you can use your homemade applesauce to dress up everything from pork chops to potato pancakes. Or you can eat it as is, which is my favorite. To get this budget-friendly recipe, all you have to do is check out our website and look for Chunky Cinnamon Applesauce. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a cinnamon-kissed way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, guys, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a cloudy and cool September day. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has your first alert forecast. That's next. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. YouTube pays a record fine for collecting kids' data, and Forever 21's new ads have one pop star seeing double. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Google is slapped with a multi-million-dollar fine for violating children's privacy rights on YouTube. The company agreed to pay $170 million after regulators said it illegally harvested the data of minors and made millions by targeting them with ads. YouTube must now obtain parental consent before collecting personal data. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed in July. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the U.S. foreign deficit came in at $54 billion during the month. China's imbalance with the U.S. dropped by $500 million. Although the gap with China shrank after the U.S. slapped new tariffs on goods, the deficit with Mexico and the European Union increased. JetBlue is lowering its sales expectations, citing the impact of Hurricane Dorian. Dorian has caused hundreds of flights to be canceled and forced the closure of some airports. JetBlue also said it is experiencing lower demand across its routes. And Ariana Grande is suing the clothing chain Forever 21 and its spin-off cosmetics brand Riley Rose. The pop star alleges the company used a look-alike model to impersonate her in a new ad campaign. Grande is seeking $10 million in damages. Forever 21 released a statement saying, in part, while the company disputes the allegations, it says it remains a huge supporter of Ariana Grande. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials are up 194 points. The NASDAQ up 76 and the S&P 500 gaining 25. Look who is back in the Q106 radio barn. Pam Yankee, our world traveler. Welcome back.
Yep. Thank you. For just a minute, I'm here, and then I'm gone again. But I wanted to share some of the pictures with you from Alaska, Mark. It was beautiful. Weather was fantastic. Every place we went, we covered quite a few miles, starting in Seattle up through Juneau, Skagway, then across the Yukon to Whitehorse, Fairbanks. That's the Kluane National Park that you see in the background there. Just one of the peaks with some of my travelers, one of the beautiful stops that we had a chance to enjoy. Juneau, the state capital, was another stop that we had on our route, our ship route, that is. So had some few clouds, but still got a chance to see that. The Alaska State Fair, it might be a little thin on livestock, but boy, I'll tell you, it is big on produce. We got a chance to see a record-breaking pumpkin for the Alaska Giants. Came in at 2,051 pounds, so shattered the previous record. It was grown by a guy in Anchorage. I don't know what he's going to do with all that, but boy, I'll tell you, it was definitely a conversation starter at the Alaska State Fair. And that, too, conversation starter on our bus. That was in Denali National Park. Bear walked right in front of the bus. And that's a picture on the screen. I had other pictures that you can see on my fabulous Farm Babe Facebook page. If you want to see some of the moose, some of the other bear that we saw, it was a great trip. Thanks again to all of our travelers for going along. Today, we're focused in on what's happening with Wisconsin farm fields. It may only be the 4th of September, but we're already working ahead as far as the harvest. 2% of our Wisconsin corn crop has already been harvested, chopped off for silage. 70% of our soybeans and 66% of our corn rated good to excellent this week. Both of those numbers about 5 percentage points higher than they were last week. Last call for dairy farmers that want to be enrolled in the Dairy Margin Coverage Program under the 2018 Farm Bill. Just talked to Sandy Chalmers. She said that right now they've got about 5,300 Wisconsin dairies that have been enrolled in the program. They're bringing in about $60 million in financial assistance through that one program. Dairy farmers have until September 20th to finish their application, so contact your county farm service agency office and get scheduled. Barrel cheese today down a penny at $1.73 1/4. 40-pound block cheese up a penny and a half at $1.95 1/2. Double A butter finishes on Tuesday unchanged. Make that a Wednesday at $2.21 a pound. I can't keep track of what day it is. It's not just the trip. Then you got to throw Labor Day in. Ay. So yeah, I'm going to have minor foot surgery tomorrow, dude, so I will catch up with you on Monday after all the anesthetics worn off, although with the way the numbers have been going, I could use that anesthetic.
You might just want to stay on it. All right, well, good luck with that.
All right,
good
thanks.
to see you
We'll
again.
See you later.
Let's check out the weather now. Dave standing by in the First Alert Weather Center.
That is some pumpkin there, my goodness. And it's a great day to maybe enjoy some pumpkin coffee or maybe a pumpkin spice latte, something like that, because temperatures are quite cool and the clouds are being a little bit stubborn early this afternoon. I do think that we will see some clearing as high pressure builds in from the north, but right now the clouds are kind of hitting the snooze button, if you will, saying 5 more minutes, Mom, and then I will take the blanket off. Doppler track is quiet, though, and that's a welcome change over the last couple of days when some spots really really got socked with some of those showers and thunderstorms, especially southwest of Madison. Radar estimating over the last 48 hours about 2 to 4 inches of rain falling closer to Platteville and near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Speaking of rain and clouds, we are still keeping a very close eye on Hurricane Dorian. Right now, a Category 2 storm. You can see the location on the east side of Florida. Winds of 105 miles per hour, moving north-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Still expecting some sort of landfall close to the Carolinas. Right now, it looks like eastern North Carolina could see at least a brief landfall from this before this storm finally moves off and stops affecting spots in the Caribbean and the United States as well. Madison, on the WISC-TV Skycam, we're looking at clouds and more clouds on the Edgewater Skycam as well. I do expect, as I mentioned, as high pressure finally gets here, those clouds to break up a little bit by this afternoon. But right now, we're staying a little bit on the cool side and definitely cloudy. 63 in Madison, 64 in Janesville, and 62 in Watertown. That is quite a bit cooler compared to this time yesterday. About 10 to, in some spots northwest of Madison, close to 20 degrees cooler than Tuesday. Dew points have definitely come down a little bit, at least at the surface. Our humidity has really gone down, so we're right around 50 for a dew point, but we still do have those clouds in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, so that humidity is still present there for now. On future track, we notice that clearing trend at least a little bit by this afternoon. I think we'll have to wait until later on tonight into the overnight hours to really see those mostly clear skies. Temperatures dipping to close to 50 degrees by the start of Thursday. Could see some patchy fog with still some of that rain that is around from earlier this week, or at least not the rain falling from the sky, but the groundwater, should I say. And we are in the mid 70s for highs on Thursday. There are still some indications that we could see maybe a few light showers early on Friday, especially north of Madison. Right now, the forecast is dry, but we'll take a look at our afternoon models and update you if that changes. It does look like the rain chances are back for the weekend with temperatures in the 60s, so really feeling like fall as we head into this weekend. Shower chances at night on Saturday and through much of the day on Sunday, and then some thunderstorms do return to the forecast Monday night into Tuesday. Those temperatures are back into the upper 70s, though, by the middle of next week.
Summer's not over yet.
Not just yet.
All right. Thank you, Dave. We'll be right back. Well, ahead on News 3 Now. Washington National shortstop Trey Turner took some time away from his team's battle with the New York Mets to visit hospitalized kids. While he was there, he found out one kid was actually rooting for the opposing team. Victoria Sanchez has the story.
Lucas, how we doing? Good, I got a couple gifts for you.
As the Washington Nationals are in the midst of a series battle with the New York Mets, number 7 is taking a quick break to visit with kids at Inova Children's Hospital.
A big Nats fan?
Kind of more of a Mets fan.
Are you? Oh, all right, so we know who we're rooting for this series.
Sorry, Trey. 13-year-old Lucas Soto is siding with the Mets on this one, but was excited to meet shortstop Trey Turner.
Got a little number 1 on the back right here, little Nats logo.
The Nationals player and his wife Kristen made their rounds passing out hospital gowns that look like jerseys donated by the MLB and Starlight Foundation.
What I've learned in my job and in my life is to keep going, no matter how hard it seems, no matter how tough the circumstances. To keep going and be positive about it. And I think if I can bring a smile to somebody's face for whatever reason, whether it's the presence or me walking in the room, I think it's awesome.
I'll probably think about this for the rest of my life. Out of the hospital too.
Alrighty, root for us tonight.
Okay.
Just 2 more games and then you can go back to being a Mets fan. All right. Nice meeting you, bud.
Surely someone is rooting for the home team.
Will you give Trey a hug?
Little Cece opens her arms and walks right past the famous shortstop. But there are enough hugs to go around. Number 7 wasn't the only one delivering smiles.
He's one of the good ones, I think. Dave?
Yeah, snubbed twice there, but at least the Nationals won last night. That's a great story. And temperatures today are in the 60s, so a cool start to the afternoon, and the clouds sticking around. 59 in Watoma, so definitely feeling like fall outside. Highs right around 70 degrees, but still staying in the upper 60s this afternoon. We'll call it partly sunny, but we need to wait a few more hours to see those clouds start to clear. 10-day forecast showing some pleasant weather on the way Thursday. And then as we head into the weekend, temps in the 60s with some rain chances.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.